Hello and welcome to That's Football. I hope you're all doing well this Thursday lunchtime. We've got the latest football transfer news for you and news in general. Quite interesting, Joey Barton being appointed Fleetwood Mac manager, but Fleetwood Town manager. It'd be very interesting if he was Fleetwood Mac manager. But let's start off with Jose Mourinho. This was something that was more yesterday. It was in the Independent that Jose Mourinho's identified his Pogba replacement. Now, obviously, in light of the performance that Paul Pogba put in last night for Manchester United in their 2-0 win against Bournemouth, that really sort of... look, what I would say is that I don't want Pogba to leave Manchester United as a Manchester United fan. I think yesterday it wasn't rocket science that we saw the best of Pogba when he can play further forward and have the space to do that, because he hasn't got Sanchez coming in from the left and Sanchez should be on the right. Mourinho himself admitted that Pogba was brilliant in that game, so that's good as well. But the issue is that I think that we've spoken about this on the watch along yesterday on the United Stand, that there is, unfortunately, football is a bit like this now. It's very reactionary, and you lose to West Brom and it's sack the manager, sell all the squad. You beat Bournemouth, the manager's great and Pogba's going to be world class. The reality is they're playing Spurs on Saturday in the FA Cup. After that game, we may know a little bit more, but I still even think after that game, you can't say if we lose, sack the manager. If Pogba's rubbish, sell him. If he's brilliant, keep him. There's got to be more to it than that. And also, when it comes to transfers, people may be aware, I'm sure a lot of you are, that transfers are not just on hold until the summer. Transfers and agents are doing things all season. And if United have given an indication that they're looking to sell Pogba this summer, the wheels could already be in motion. And what if Mourinho's already decided he doesn't want Pogba, and Pogba's decided he doesn't want to be at Manchester United? They don't need to be arguing with each other. There can be an amicable agreement that, look, I'm obviously proud of myself. I want to do well in the World Cup. I'm going to perform for Manchester United. And Mourinho obviously is going to want to keep putting his best players out there, but it may not be that Pogba's going to be here next season. I think he will do. The replacement that we're talking about, though, in the Independent, they're talking about Manchester United don't really feel that they can get Toni Kroos, so they're looking at Jorginho, Napoli. Now, look, this would be a problem if there is any truth in this story, because if you are letting Paul Pogba go, whether he's been consistent or good enough or not is up for debate, but the reality is he's one of the best midfielders elect in the world. If you let him go, you've got to be looking at people like Verratti, Kroos, Modric, you know, the top creme de la creme midfielders, of which there's not loads. And Jorginho, I'm sorry, I don't think Real Madrid and Barcelona are queuing up to sign someone like Jorginho. So I think he's good, but that would be a massive concern. And I don't really think that he's the sort of player that Mourinho would go for. Maybe Milankovic-Savic, but again, that would be a bit of a risk. So all I would say about Pogba is keep your eye on the ball with that one. Keep your eye on the ball. And look, a good performance last night, a very good performance, and that's what we want to see. But it doesn't mean anything either way. And I think, you know, I don't want to be overcritical of Arsenal fans, but Arsenal fans are well known for their Twitter polls and being a bit reactionary and, you know, flip-flop fans. 1 minute they love it, 1 minute they're not. And I don't think United fans need to be like that. I think they just need to relax. They've got a massive game on Saturday, and let's see how Pogba performs in that. Because there's a player in the Spurs team who normally does a very good job on Pogba, so let's see. Red in the Bed's just come up with a very good question that dropped into my head there. He says, who would you prefer at right back, Sessegnon or Sandro? I would prefer Sessegnon, but I don't think that Jose Mourinho would. I think Jose Mourinho would prefer the more experienced player, but I think Ryan Sessegnon is, I think he's going to be a world star. I was talking to Drawty about this yesterday, and he said, you know, he's going to be the next Bale. I think he is genuinely going to be the next sort of British world superstar. And I know Harry Kane's a good player, but I think, you know, flair player, I think Ryan Sessegnon is going to be absolutely fantastic. So good question. I would go with that. But I would imagine Jose would probably go with something a little bit different. Let's have a look at some of the latest news today. Liverpool want to sign Portugal midfielder Ruben Neves, who's 21, from newly promoted Championship leaders Wolves. Not surprised they would be looking at him. Very, very good. I would hope that he would stay at Wolves because they're going to be promoted next season and see what happens there. But you know, you can understand why teams are looking at them. It's a bit like Sessegnon if Fulham go up. I would hope that Sessegnon would stay at Fulham because they're in the Premier League for another year, but he may well move on. Remember, Manchester United are training at Fulham this week as well, so maybe something in that. It doesn't fit the profile of a Mourinho signing, though, going for a very young kid. I mean, I think he's 17, isn't he? It's not what Mourinho normally does. It would be ripping up the rule book, and I would love to see Mourinho do that, but it's not normally what he does. Talking of youngsters, Tottenham are considering a move for 21-year-old Leicester City winger Damari Gray. They wanted to sign him last summer, but the Foxes refused. I think Spurs would also be in the running for Ryan Sessegnon and Zaha. I think if Spurs retain all the players that they've got, if they keep Pochettino and they add people like Gray or Zaha or Sessegnon, I think there'll be another competitive team next year. And I think going into their new ground, Spurs can feel quite positive about that. They're also linked with Layvin Kurzawa at PSG, who's a left back. And just talking about Manchester United, The Sun are reporting that Lyon are now in for Anthony Martial as well as Juventus. Arsenal apparently were considering a bid themselves, but Wenger has prioritised other areas he wants to strengthen this summer. And also, he's got more chance of signing the Queen than Anthony Martial. There's no way we'd be doing that. We were speaking about Napoli before, and Antonio Conte is apparently the favourite to become their manager next season. Napoli manager Sarri is Chelsea's first choice to replace manager next season. And also there's an urgent around Abramovich at Chelsea to start signing the next big thing players instead of going for established players. But I mean, that's a bit of a weird statement. That's in the Telegraph as well, because Chelsea have got loads of next big thing players. They've got so much talent that they loan out and then they sell. So Chelsea needs to start doing that rather than just playing the established stars. Tottenham are going to extend Lamella's contract, keeping the 26-year-old there until 2020. And just on Pogba, there was something in the Star here. I mean, take it with a pinch of salt, I suppose. Carrick and De Gea apparently have had words with Pogba to try to resolve his difficulties with the manager. And then that followed on into the Jorginho story as well. Atletico Madrid are still hopeful that they can keep Griezmann at the club if they can win the Europa League and keep challenging Barcelona for La Liga. And Zlatan Ibrahimovic has said he will definitely be at the World Cup. Now, whether this is as an ambassador or whether it is as actually playing for Sweden, we don't know. I would love to see that happen. Evie Burgess says he's staying at Wolves. Mendes clients in talking of Nuno, and Liverpool hoping to sign Anthony Martial. They can keep on hoping. And the Independent didn't say Jorginho was potential. It was implied that he would be a compliment. No, mate, you've got that totally and utterly wrong. I'll read you the very bit here. I don't just make up rumours. It was Napoli midfielder Jorginho has become one of Mourinho's main targets to replace Pogba. Italy's Jorginho is seen as a more viable option than Real Madrid's Toni Kroos, and that's in the Independent. So there you go. Is Tuchel confirmed as the next PSG boss? No, he's not. Carrick will do a very good job at United, says Michael Jones. It's interesting, Manchester United last night, Carrick sat on the bench as a coach, not on the bench as a substitute option. And especially in a game like that, we bring Fellaini back, I would have preferred Carrick. So he's obviously just focusing on that. I agree with Christopher White. I think it's not a World Cup without Zlatan, and I really do want to see him there because, you know what? I don't know about you lot, and That's Football channel is the right place to talk about this. I don't know what you lot think, but I'm very, very excited. I'm starting to get more of this World Cup fever, and you can resist it as much as you like, especially at my age. You know, I've had many World Cups, and I was driving down to Bristol yesterday, and I had Talk Sport on, and I was listening to them talking about the World Cup, and I couldn't help getting drawn in about the excitement of the World Cup, and I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope that Zlatan is there because it adds to that excitement. And I'll be there the first Saturday. Probably do a watch along for it. Egypt against Uruguay, Suarez against Messi, and I'll Suarez against the Egyptian Messi. Sorry, Salah. So yeah, I am looking forward to the World Cup, and I think that the closer it gets, the more people will get excited to it. So I don't know what you lot are thinking about that. We've got to get rid of the Premier League season first. I do feel that the Premier League season now is really, the season ends in May, but for a lot of people it starts to end in April because, you know, the title's already been won. Yeah, you're fighting for second, third and fourth, and the relegation battle is quite interesting. But teams start to be on the beach now, and I'm starting to detect that. So that's why I'm so looking forward to the FA Cup semi-finals at the weekend. And obviously the FA Cup final, and then next week we've got the Champions League semi-finals and the Europa League. So the cup tournaments are really taking the focus at the moment, but I'm looking forward to that. And my predicted winner of this year's World Cup, that's from Red in the Bed again, I would say Brazil are my dark horse to win it. Now that sounds silly because Brazil are a big team, but then they've not been doing well as recently. And I think Spain could shock me. I didn't think Spain could do it. But Germany probably. I think France, Belgium, great teams, not great managers. And so I don't think they'll win it. So I would be going Germany, Spain, Brazil. Argentina, no chance as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely not. I don't want Pogba to go, says Selena. I don't think he will. I don't think he will go. But we're just reporting what the latest transfer news is. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. We will be back tomorrow at midday as well. Watch along wise, we're definitely doing the Chelsea versus Southampton FA Cup semi-final on Sunday. United Spurs is on the United stand. Watch along for that. And then next week we're very busy. We've got both Champions League semi-finals, the Europa League semi-final. So lots coming up, but it's been a bit of a quiet week in relation to watch-alongs. But thanks everybody for watching. Please do drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're on that road to 30k. We've got an outside chance of doing it before the end of the season, which would be fantastic going into the World Cup. So thanks everyone for watching. Really do enjoy doing this channel and having all the chat and that. And thanks everyone who's watched live. If you're not watching live, drop your comments in. Do you seriously think that Pogba will stay this summer, or do you think he'll go? All I will finish with is that transfers are done in the season, and if a decision's been made that he's going, doesn't mean he can't put in great performances, doesn't mean that Mourinho won't say what a good performance it was. If the wheels are in motion, they're in motion. Can they be stopped? Were they ever started? I think he'll stay. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon.